previous video, we took a look at some of the best boss fights in the DuckTales series. Well, unfortunately, there's always the other side to that coin. Some bosses are just repetitive, or aggravating, or just plain lame. So on today's list, we're going to take a look at these bosses that just didn't work for one reason or another. On today's Top 5 Worst DuckTales Bosses. Number 5. The Magic of the Spell fight was already kind of weak on the original NES version, but not bad enough to make this list. But once you take this fight and transfer it to the Game Boy, it gets a lot worse. The premise of the fight is simple. Dodge her flying back and forth, and then dodge her lightning and pogo on her head. The only problem with the Game Boy is the screen is so small, and when she's flying back and forth, there's just no room to move or pogo out of the way. The whole fight is very congested, and just does not work very well on the Game Boy. Luckily, it's a quick fight and won't take you too long to defeat her. A quick shout out to the Game Boy version of the Rat Boss fight also in the Moon level. There's just no room to do anything here. Number 4. In DuckTales 2 on the NES, if you manage to collect all the secret map pieces, you can unlock a hidden level. After acquiring the 7th piece, you're immediately transported to a secret area, which is in the basement of the castle in the Scotland level. The aesthetic of the level is very nice. The castle and bricks are all gold with a green background. So you're here searching for the lost treasure of McDuck to get the best ending of the game. After making it through this rather amazing and challenging level, you come to the boss, who's protecting the lost treasure of Fergus McDuck. And what is it? Well, these two sorcerers. Literally the same boss fight we just did in a regular Scotland castle. The sorcerer's boss fight wasn't bad, but do we really need to do it again? After finding this hidden zone and navigating through the whole level, they couldn't have just created one more new boss for the game? I mean, come on, that was kind of a letdown. The Game Boy port of DuckTales 2 was even worse. They didn't even bother to put any boss fight here. The treasure's just sitting there in a box, waiting for you to take it. Number 3. The next boss on our list comes once again from DuckTales 2 game. This time, we're talking about the final boss of the game. Once you pass all the levels and collect all the treasures, of course, Flintheart Glumgold captures your cute little nephew Webby. Glumgold demands you bring him all the treasures if you ever want to see Webby again. What a cliché. I feel like this is in every movie or game. The good guys do all the work, then at the end, the bad guys take someone hostage and demand the treasures or whatever it is they were doing for the whole game or movie. At any rate, of course, Scrooge hands over the treasure without any fight, like some little bitch. And then Glumgold doesn't keep his word and doesn't give Webby back. What a surprise. So, this boss's name is the D-1000, which I already don't like because I made that joke first while playing the game before I even knew his name. It's a reference to the T-1000 in Terminator 2, the liquid metal Terminator. The fight itself is just horribly designed in my opinion. You have to pogo on top of his head to do damage like every boss of course, but his legs and arms are so long you can't even get close to him. His feet just keep kicking you and is very obnoxious. Then when you finally get close enough to pogo on him, he just grapples up to the top anyway. I don't see a clear strategy on how you're supposed to defeat this guy. This seems like a crapshoot to me. So just make sure you have enough health and just go for it. Get in there and hope he dies before you do. What else can I say? Oh, and of course, as you'd expect, the Game Boy version is much worse than NES version. It's even more frustrating. Number 2. I think I might get some hate for this one, but here it goes anyway. Number 2 on this list is another final boss. This time, it's Dracula Duck, from the original DuckTales game on NES. In the previous video, I mentioned how much this boss fight was improved for DuckTales Remastered version, but the NES version of this boss, I really can't stand. I understand the concept of the fight. Dracula Duck briefly appears throughout the room and lets out bats. You have to bounce on top of these bats to get high enough to pogo onto his head. The problem is the placement of the bats. It's very frustrating because you never know what level they will be flying on. I used to think that they fly out where you were, so I would stop pogoing and just stay on the ground so they will fly down there. Then I had the idea that if I stayed directly behind the boss when he appears, the bats would fly low. But the truth is, I have no idea at this point. The bats are always just a tad too high, and I try and pogo off them and just get hit and take damage. It's possible I'm making too much out of this fight, but honestly, I really don't like this as the final boss fight of a game. Number 1. Now this may be the sole reason I made this list, to be honest. This boss is absolutely frustrating. So much that I actually get mad playing this guy. We are once again heading back to DuckTales 2 on the NES. I promise you this is a good game, but just the boss fights were not the strong point in the series. The level in question here is Mew. It's based off a real life belief that there was once a city that sunk into the water. The level itself isn't bad. There's these flower things you can fling yourself across gaps with. Some cool mysterious stone heads as enemies. You can even lower the water to get to a secret area. But the boss? The stage boss? Ugh. Let's get into it. This is some rock formation or something. The whole thing is armored up and there's no way to hit him. Can't pogo on the guy, golf swing him, nothing. So, the guy walks back and forth over and over and shoots his mechanical rock arm or something at you, which can easily be dodged by ducking. The weakness to this boss is that little red gem in his chest. You gotta get that gem out and pogo on it. So, how do you do that? Well, periodically through the fight, the boss will stomp the ground and these blocks fall from the ceiling. You must golf swing these blocks back to the boss so he collapses and you can finally pogo on his little red gem heart, or whatever it is. The frustrating things are, A. Sometimes he'll walk back and forth multiple times and not stomp the ground, therefore not drop blocks, and therefore you can't damage him. This can be a while and sometimes it makes the fight last forever. Point B. The blocks fall in random spots, and opposite from point A, they're actually everywhere this time. You don't have enough time to even move out of the way. You're sitting here trying to line up your shot on the ground, while dodging falling blocks, while dodging a stupid hand, and while dodging him walking back and forth. It can be very hectic and frustrating. And finally, point C. If there are two blocks directly adjacent to each other, you cannot golf swing one of them towards the boss. You have to pogo on one of them so they aren't back to back, and then set up your golf swing, and by that time, he's either already on the move, or more blocks have fallen. After watching the footage, I feel like maybe I'm making it out to be a little bit more than it is. But man, when you're in the moment and you're playing it live, it's so frustrating and could take forever, depending on all these factors lining up perfectly so you can actually defeat the guy. Thanks for watching this top 5 countdown. If you want to see the game in number 1 spot on this list, click up here in the top right. If you want to see all the games from this series, click on the playlist down here in the bottom right. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.